Welcome back to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. I'll be right back with today's guest, but we want to give a shout out to our two podcast partners, We Coach and the Global Community of Women in High School Sports. These are two great organizations that you should really be a part of. And now let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. We want to say thanks to Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com and they're going to show you how to set up and sell your tickets online. They'll show you how to scan the attendees that come to your game and collect your revenue. And every step of the way, you'll have a dedicated client success manager that's providing hands-on support. That's hands-on support every step of the way. Go to hometownticketing.com. They'll also show you how to set up and sell tickets for things like school dances, school plays and concerts, even graduation. That's hometownticketing.com. Simple and easy online ticketing. We also want to say thanks to Snap Raise. Go to onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com. And check out their platform, which is designed specifically to help athletic directors do the very best job they can. Snap Raise is their fundraising platform. Our coaches have used it with great success, and schools just like yours have raised thousands and thousands of dollars. Snap Spend is their secure, transparent money management platform. Snap Store allows you to order spirit gear or team gear for everybody in your program. Snap Manage is their website platform design program. They'll design a website for your school. And Snap Connect is their multilingual family engagement platform that allows you to support every family in your community. You can find more about all these programs at onsnap.com. That's onsnap.com. Check them out today. We also want to say thanks to Huddle. Go to huddle.com and see why Huddle is how the world sees sports. Over 200,000 teams use Huddle to help their athletes and their teams play better. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an athletic director, our school was a Huddle school, and our coaches just loved the smart cameras, the mobile apps. Of course, they love the analytics, but there's so much more. Go to huddle.com, and you're going to find tools that can help every team and every athlete perform at the highest level. And Huddle provides a complete professional-grade solution for the challenges you face as an AD. At Huddle, we believe in sports, and teams believe in Huddle. Go to huddle.com, join the 6 million users, and turn your school into a Huddle school. We also want to say thank you to Gipper. Go to gipper.com and see how athletic directors and coaches are creating world-class marketing content for their school's social media channels. You can do it in seconds on any device, and you don't need any design experience. Go to gipper.com and use the podcast code ADPOD10. That's ADPOD10 and get 10% off. Create custom branded content for your school's social media channel. That's at gipper.com. We also want to say thanks to Final Forms, the industry leader in registration, but Final Forms is so much more than that. Final Forms can help your stakeholders with things like mobile accessibility. They got reminders for parents about policies, about physicals, and all the forms that come when you have an athlete in the house. Final Forms can also help your coaches with things like attendance and communication. And for athletic directors, Final Forms can help you with eligibility, with rosters, and all the reports that come across your desk. You know, it's time that you talk to a team that's walked in your shoes. To take the next steps, go to finalforms.com/Jake. That's finalforms.com/Jake to get started with Final Forms. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack for sponsoring the AD Toolbox segment of our regular podcast. Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack are a quick, easy, and affordable way for you to collect comprehensive data that allows you to evaluate and improve every aspect of your athletic department. At my schools, we used forms for just about everything, for teachers, for coaches, for kids, and for parents. And the information that came back on these surveys was almost always positive. But sometimes those surveys can allow that squeaky wheel parent to vent. And if they share a small issue, you can actually address it and keep it from turning into a big issue because you didn't know about it because you hadn't done a survey. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. If you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents or your student athletes, you're really missing out. Talk to the folks at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack and let them help you take your athletic program from good to great. We also want to thank the good folks at Sideline Interactive for their support. Sideline Interactive's indoor scoring tables and video boards not only generate income for your department, but they also create the ultimate game day experience for your student athletes. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or email them at sidelineinteractive.com and set up a live web demo and see their tables and boards in action. That's sales at sidelineinteractive.com for the email. See exactly what these fantastic products can do for you. sidelineinteractive.com. And we want to say thanks to the good folks at Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their interactive touchscreen video consoles, along with their library of templates. And that will help you recognize the athletic achievements of your students, both past and present. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school records for all your sports or your school's Hall of Fame, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and let them help you showcase your school's diverse history and your proudest moments. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com, or you can email them at sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. That's sales@vitalsignswalloffame.com. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Our guest today is truly a friend of the show, Shea Collins. She's been a guest on the regular podcast, and she's been a regular contributor to our Wednesday Wisdom series. First of all, Shea, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Always fun to talk with you. We're closing in on, we're not quite there yet, but we're about 30 days or so away from this year's national conference in Nashville. And I know you've gone, many times. And again, for our listeners, Shea's a veteran athletic director, very active in her state. But I thought it'd be interesting for you to share, particularly maybe for a first-time attendee, maybe one of our listeners who's going to be in Nashville, going to be at the NADC for the first time. What are some things that you would recommend they see and try to put on their schedule as far as events, both professional and maybe refreshing events to go to?
Yeah. Well, thank you again for having me. As far as a new ADs workshop, not workshop, but new ADs going to this national conference. If you haven't gone to the national conference previously, obviously this might be your first one, second one, third one. But the one thing that I always try to do is I always try to take classes. I try to take classes all the time because I think that's important to take at least one while you're there. If you're looking for any type of certification, it's easier because you're already there. Tell them to be quiet. And then the other thing is to make sure that you're picking up any kind of classes that you want to, that will enhance you, such as keeping up with forms, any new handouts, how to connect with parents, how to communicate with parents, how to keep track of athletic equipment, uniform, any type of inventory like that. I think those are always good to go to as well, because going to those will help you start to get some of those things that people are doing 5 or 6 years later, just catching up to do, kind of get that done in your first couple of years of your job. So you're not always running, but you're kind of maintaining the job. So I think those are some things to go to, but also I think another important one to go to is to go to any ones that you could kind of say that I learned a new trick or a new trade for me as an AD. What is something I hadn't thought about doing that I might could do? Because we know social media is one of the highest things now that people are putting things out there, good or bad, but as far as your athletic department, I think being able to know how to do that and or getting help with doing that is also probably a huge one to take away to get your program and get your school seen. I think that's important also.
Yeah, I'm so glad you mentioned the LTI courses, and you and I have taken them, extensively, and I'm sure you would agree. The courses stand on their own. The material, it's 4 hours. The presenters are always great, but it's sometimes those conversations that you have at the table with 5 or 6 other athletic directors that just enhance the experience. Can you think back to some of the courses that you've taken, and not so much the course, or maybe the course, but maybe one of those conversations that you had that you came away with a great idea?
Yeah, I think that one of the ones I actually came away with just last year, it was about social media. So one of the guys had said that because I was taking the marketing and branding class and LTI class, and it basically was stating that if your website is not up to date, it's your fault because you're the AD, you're there to watch. Even if someone is doing it for you or updating things for you, you are still the partaker in the first line of communication if something isn't right. So I immediately went on my website right then and I had like two things that were out of date. It wasn't the items, but the dates were already passed. It was about tryouts. We were already starting our season, but the tryout dates were still there. So there's something simple as that is what I look at as what can I do for me? So that even being in that class, it wasn't even about what they said, it's about people. He was like, oh, go on your website right now. We all went to our website and we looked and I was like, oh my God, this is happening. So that was one of the things that I definitely in conversations take away. But also I attended the one with the women last year with Jen Brooks. And that was a huge success because just knowing that we as female ADs or DSAs, whatever word, we are, it is a collective group of people that feel the same way or doing some of the same things, leaving, retiring, coming in, been there for a couple of years, but you can share some things with them. You got phone numbers, you got emails. We did group assignments slash assignments with other people that we didn't know. So you got to know people. So I think something like that, what you just mentioned about getting to know people and sitting down and talking and getting those groups, I think that's awesome as well.
Yeah, the networking aspect alone, whether it's in an LTI class or a workshop, or just going up and introducing yourself to someone, hey, I'm an athletic director from, this state. This is my first time attending. I think you'll have
Yeah.
that little flag on your badge. Take advantage of those networking opportunities. I'm going to put you on the spot. In addition to the LTI courses, there are, dozens and dozens, I'm going to guess probably 50 or 60 workshops over the course of the convention. What are some workshop topics that you have attended over the years that have come away, that have really, maybe surprised you with their value, that you're still utilizing those things from that workshop?
Let's see. I think I attended one. Oh my God, there's so many, but I think I attended one on what were we talking about? Oh, it was about getting people from more so having parent meetings and how to organize them. Now, I mean, I know how to organize a parent meeting because I was a teacher, so I kind of knew that. But getting to a point where you have something that triggers their mind versus these are the rules, these are the rules, these are the rules, these are the rules, these are the rules. So what I did was I incorporated video about students, how they felt. It's pretty much most people have seen that video by now, but Virginia High School League also had it as well. But how the kids felt when their parents yell and scream at them at a game.
Right.
And so I learned, I was like, oh my God, I can add this video. I didn't show the whole thing. I showed maybe like a 10-minute clip, a 5-minute clip. My parent meetings used like 20 minutes. So I added that in, and the look on my parents' faces was like, oh, okay, am I doing that? And then I ended it with the raffle. I gave away something free, like I gave away athletic passes at the end, and the tickets was under the chair. I had to go find it, had to pick out one, that type of thing. But I learned to like incorporate something other than the want talking, because a want would get them not to come back next time.
Mhm.
Right. So I'm always trying to do something to enhance my parents, but also encourage them to come back and want to come back, but not feel like, oh my God, I just finished spring last year. I'm doing spring again this year. It's going to be the same thing. I've also incorporated, because we learned not just there in the workshop, but once COVID hit, how to communicate through video, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. So learning how to conduct parent meetings and gravitate and get their attention from me, that was huge. That was huge.
Yeah. Again, and just another example of, you just get that one little nugget and you take it back and you can just build on that year after year doing different things. And speaking about parents, I'm going to go ahead and give a plug to one of the LTI courses, 716, Partnering with Parents. It was brand new last year. It's going
Oh
to be back
yeah.
again this year. So, make sure you sign up for that course if you still can. Um, let's hit on one more aspect of the conference, the vendor exhibits. You walk into that enormous room and, there's I have no idea, but there's hundreds of
Yeah.
different vendors out there, and it can be kind of intimidating. What's your advice to that first time attendee for navigating, the vendor exhibits and making the most out of it?
I would say what I didn't know going in there. You're like, oh my God, all these people are here. But I would say is to jot down maybe 5 things that you want to have in your department, that you want to update, you want to improve, you want to look at, whether it's uniforms, whether it's furniture, whether it is surveys, whether it's having a form for this, a form for that, whatever it is, whether it's jerseys, backpacks, whatever. Pick out 5 things that you think that your department could benefit from. Look for those particular vendors within that, because it is overwhelming. You will never get through that entire room while you're trying to get those cards stamped, and you know what I'm saying, and do all those things to win the prizes and everything. So you get overwhelmed, you're just trying to run around. But I think to do those top 5 first, and then be able to just be freely just walk around, see what they have. But I wouldn't say to try to get all of those in that one time. I would definitely say pick maybe your top 5 things you want to bring to your department, and then I would say go from there. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Trying to visit every single one on just one day, it's just not going to happen. Shea Collins, again, for our listeners, if you don't know Shea, longtime athletic director, very active interstate, just does a great job. And again, a friend of the show. If one of our listeners wanted to reach out, pick your brain a little bit more, find out how you do things at your school, what's the best way that they can get a hold of you?
Well, I have transitioned schools now, but they can still get me. I'm at scollins3 at rvaschools.net, scollins3 at rvaschools.net, or they can also, my personal email as well, and I'm scollins0609 at gmail.
Okay. Shea Collins, thanks as always for sharing on Wednesday Wisdom, and
You are welcome.
best of luck. I know you're hip deep in homecoming activities this week, but
Yeah,
all the best moving forward.
and I will just say this while you're there. I also have a business, 365 mentoring and coaching, and I'm willing to come on the road, teach, coach, mentor your ADs, your school leadership groups, anything of that nature, your coaches, whatever it is, tag team with you even one day. But 365 mentoring and coaching at Gmail. So if they are looking for anything of that nature also. So thank you again for having me. As always, I really appreciate it. You have an awesome day. You're number one, man. No matter what anybody says, you're number one. Your book's on the bestseller list. Come on now, you got it going on.
You are too kind. I want to hit that your new business one more time. So that email was 365 mentoring.
Mentoring and coaching.
Okay.
Mentoring and coaching at Gmail.
Okay. 365 mentoring and coaching at gmail.com.
Yep.
All right. Yeah. You really should check out Shea Collins, a real pro in our profession. She would do a great job for you. And I would love to tag team on a presentation with you sometime. Okay.
Let's make it happen. My man, you take care. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
For our listeners, the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews go up on the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do this every week, Wednesday Wisdom, and just about every day with some new content on the Educational AD Podcast. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time. Once again, we want to thank all of our sponsors for their support. Final Forms, if you're an athletic director, Final Forms can really help you organize your program, and they'll help your stakeholders and your coaches. Go to finalforms.com/Jake for more information. I want to say thanks to Gipper. Gipper.com allows you to create custom branded content for your school's social media channels. It's so easy, even I can do it. Go to Gipper.com, use the podcast code ADPOD10 and get 10% off. We also want to thank Snap Mobile. They've got an entire platform that can help you as an athletic director. Snap Raise is their fundraising platform. Our coaches use Snap Raise, and it was just fantastic. They also have Snap Spin, Snap Store, Snap Manage. They'll design a whole website for you. And Snap Connect is their family engagement division. Go to OnSnap, that's onsnap.com for more information about all of these great programs. Also want to say thanks to Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an athletic director, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com and see how Huddle can help you and your coaches. We also want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by Lifetrack. If you've never used a survey with your coaches, with your kids, with your parents, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com or email them at info@athleticsurveys.com to get started. We want to say thanks to Sideline Interactive. You've heard me say before, we've got a Sideline Interactive indoor scoring table in our gym, and it's just fantastic. Go to sidelineinteractive.com or email them at sales@sidelineinteractive.com. We want to thank Hometown Ticketing, the leading digital ticketing provider to schools and colleges. Go to hometownticketing.com. They'll show you how to set up and sell tickets for athletics, for dances, even for graduation. That's hometownticketing.com. And we want to thank Vital Signs by Wall of Fame. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com and check out their touchscreen consoles if you're looking for a really cool way to display your school's record boards or your school's Hall of Fame. That's vitalsignswalloffame.com. Thanks again for listening to Wednesday Wisdom, and almost every day on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time.